is Tomomi Gariano, a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video covers day 25 through day 27 of GratitangleZ 2024, and today's or the first tangle for this video is for Inapod. This is an adorable tangle, which it's pretty straightforward. You start with an almond shape and you add orbs, and you're gonna add tethered olas. Instead of finishing up each of these Inapod shape, I'm just gonna do some of the almond shape and just one set of aura, and then move on to the next one, and then I'm gonna do the auras later. Of course, you can do the entire Inapod first by adding several auras and move on to the next one, whichever makes sense to you. So my almond shape, the initial almond shape for this one, I made it pretty round, so I can only put 3 orbs. But if you made this initial almond shape skinnier and elongated, you may be able to add maybe 5 orbs, 6 orbs, so you work with the space that you have. And when you are drawing orbs, just be patient with yourself. It may not look as perfect, and that's okay. That's why we call them orbs. We don't call them circles in Zentangle, because once you start seeing these shapes as circles, it becomes a different game. Your mind try to pursue a perfect circle, so that's never an intention. Orb is just some kind of round shape, so it doesn't have to be perfect. There's something round. Sometimes it can be elongated. I have good days and bad days when I'm drawing orbs. Some days, I'm happy with my orbs. Some days I'm like, they look a little wonky, but they're still orbs. But I would encourage you to go slow and make sure the beginning of your line connect nicely to the end of your line when you're drawing orbs. I think that makes it look really nice. When I rush and when my beginning and end doesn't connect nicely, when I look back and look at my shape, I can totally see that I rushed when I drew these orbs. So this next set, I know my fingers are hiding my drawing a little bit, but you can see that I started with little skinnier elongated almond shapes, so I can put 5 orbs in this one. So they have a little different look depending on how you shape the initial shape, and how many orbs you add and how many auras you add. So there's no rules how you draw this tangle Inapod. So experiment, have fun. And this tangle is so much fun to shade and highlight. So I could put more of these, but I think I'm gonna leave spaces for this one, and I'm gonna start shading. I want to shade where all these lines are coming together, because those spots are already dark to begin with all the inks, all the ink and pen lines coming together. It's already dark, so I'm just emphasizing the look. add smiley face to these orbs. And if your orbs are really small, you may skip shading some of them because you don't want to create a gray blob. And if your orbs look like they are kind of layered, like in mine looks like the center orb is coming in front of the other two orbs, so that's why I added a little bit of shading to the side of this big center orb. And then when I pull my shading, I don't pull out all the way. I'm leaving the middle part untouched. And because I'm using a colored background, I can come back in with my white charcoal pencil. But even if you're doing using a white paper, you can still create a highlighted space by not adding any shading. So of course, adding white shading, white charcoal pencil is very efficient and very quick way to add highlighted spot, but you can do that without white charcoal pencil too by not shading. So by adding some, or by creating some highlighted spot, it creates the roundness, it creates the dimension. And they're cute. To me, they look like I don't know. They look like a little bug, or maybe some kind of little bean pods, Inapod. It's really cute. I like this tangle, and I like to, when I do this tangle, I like to give them a little movement too, instead of putting them together on a straight line. And then I add some brighter spot with my white gel pen. So this is such an enjoyable, relaxing tangle to draw, and I hope you like this one. And the next one, well, I guess sorry, I forgot that I was doing this shading a little bit. Just give a little shadow outside, since I have lots of space left to create the little more dimension to this tangle. So this next one, Triplellation. So this one is one of those tangles you really have to trust in the process and sit through being uncomfortable. And this one starts with pencil grid, and technically speaking, I don't know if this is still the case. Technically speaking, when you have to create pencil drawn guidelines, like when I first learned Zentangle, I heard that you can't call that tangle when you have to have a pencil guideline, but things change, and there's a lot of new tangles and a lot of new ways of doing things. So anyways, this one starts with pencil grid. You create triangles, and you add a little dots to indicate where the center of triangles are. And this tangle requires a lot of focus. So I'm taking you step by step, and I'm doing really nice and slow because I get confused too. You see me pause and stop. So the first set of lines, let's say I'm starting from the center and going spinning clockwise. So I'm doing this on every other triangle, or the triangles that's facing up, which means there's the corner, one corner on the top and two corner on the bottom. So just the regular triangle direction. So all these triangles that's facing the same direction, I'm adding a slightly curved line from the center points to the sides of triangles. So kind of have to figure out all these ones that's partially hidden, but it's the same idea from center to the side, from center to the side, going spinning in the same direction. So that's clockwise, spinning clockwise. So this is where it gets a little tricky when you're doing on the upside down triangles, or the every other remaining one, you spin counterclockwise. So from center you spin counterclockwise, and you're going to connect with the lines from the next triangle. So here from the center I go counterclockwise and connect. From the center, counterclockwise and connect, and counterclockwise and connect. And then you have this kind of spearhead like shape. So as you can see, on each triangle, as I move on to next triangle, I pause and I think which direction I'm going. So this one, it's partially hidden, but still going counterclockwise. And once you do maybe 3 or 4, you kind of get a hang of it, and you may not have to think as much as you did at the beginning, but that's when you tend to draw the lines in a way that feels natural to you. Maybe clockwise feels natural to you, maybe counterclockwise feels natural to you. So you have to be really careful. There's no mistakes in Zentangle, but tangle like this, you want to be really careful to not add the lines that you didn't want it to be there. You can always create something from unintentional lines, but you may feel frustrated. So be patient with yourself, go slow, trust in the process, sit through uncomfortable moment, and in the end you have this amazing, intricate design that you can't even figure out by just looking at it how you did it. You did it, but you're like, how did I do it? So I really like the tangle like this. It's so rewarding. I feel uncomfortable at a time, and I'm like, what am I doing? But in the end, it's so rewarding. So right now, I'm just adding some auras to outside of this spearhead shape, just going one at a time. And you don't have to do this. This is not a part of Step Out. This is something I decided to do. And once you did go through this Step Out, and then once you have this kind of like a triangular boomerang shape, I feel like I throw this three-headed shape. I feel like it spins around and it comes back to me. That's how I feel like this shape looks like. But anyways, you can decorate, you can embellish however you want to, and I think this is gonna look amazing once we shade and highlight. And because I did a little this tangle a little big, and I feel like this space is a little empty, I'm adding some dramas by adding some inked in diamonds and perhaps some dots coming out from this. Just feel free to add any embellishment, any decorations. There's so much possibilities. And I can't wait to shade this one. And you don't have to do to give all the same embellishment to every single one of them. You can give variations, you can experiment, explore. This is a moment for you to have fun. And I know some people likes more organic tangles that you can freely draw. Some people likes more of this sort of complicated puzzle like tangles. I like both, but I think to me when these kind of tangles are more rewarding. It can be frustrating, but when I get it, it's more rewarding. And since I started with pencil line, you can still see some of the all of the pencil lines, but I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna use eraser. You know, in Zentangle, we don't believe in erasing. I think that's why we don't use pencil guidelines for the tangles. We do draw a border and strings in pencil, but we don't erase them either. They were there to help you, so you know, I want them to be there. You know, I don't want to just erase what helped me. It's like, you know, I have a relationship with my drawings, so I don't wanna erase the lines that helped me. And sometimes I do erase them depending on what my goals are. But when I'm doing Zentangle or when I'm tangling, I don't use erasers. There's no mistakes, so these pencil lines are not mistakes. They were there for reasons. So now I'm shading and creating the over and under look. So I'm shading inside of this spearhead shape or outside of this curved in shape, however you want to see it. But now you can see how the one is going under the other. And then you can do little by little. Oh, I forgot to add diamond here. You can do little by little, or you can do all of them at once, and you don't have to add shading to every single one. You can add shading to just few of them and bring some of the shapes forward and make them stand out. So I think I decided to shade in every single one of these spearhead shape that's going that's connected or that's going under the one next to it. to create this sort of weaving feel to it. So it's almost like I can see how this shape started to round up, and the edge is like threaded underneath, and the center parts, the middle part is kind of coming forward or bringing up by doing this shading. So we're gonna add highlights to the middle part to bring this middle section even higher, and add some like poofed up, like pillow effect to this shape. And I think if I really wanna spend a lot of time on shading this tangle, I probably would go back in with my black ink and make the part that's that I added shading a little darker. But I think this is enough by just adding some highlight, bright highlight in the middle. It creates enough contrast and enough drama. So this was such a fun tangle. You know, because this is my first time, I did it in very straightforward way, but maybe once I feel more comfortable with this tangle, I want to see how I can play with maybe like instead of starting with really nice triangular grid, perhaps start with the wonky triangles. Who knows? But I wanna explore this tangle. So this next one, last one for this video, it starts with 2 lines crossing, and you're gonna create a diamond shape using these lines. I'm doing slightly different from the step art. I'll show you how. So this diamond that I'm creating now was actually the 3rd step on a step out. So the first step was 2 lines crossing, and there was second step. So second step was actually this. You create a diamond shape somewhere on these 2 lines that are crossing. Then you aura outside, but I decided to do the bigger diamond first and then aura inside. So in the end, you have exactly the same thing. So whichever makes sense. And you're gonna add some lines to this part. So by doing this, the initial 2 lines that are crossing kind of sort of disappears. And then I'm gonna add a curved line like I showed, but I decided to do something. So that's the step up, rounded lines like a crescent moon. But I decided to add V-shaped line instead. I don't know, I kind of wanted to create some star-like shape. Perhaps I'm gonna ink in, maybe not. I'll decide whether I ink in or not. I can always come back and ink in later. So instead of doing rounded shape, I decided to do pointy shape here. And I did just 2 auras on each one of them, and then I'm gonna come back in and decide how many more I'm gonna do. So when you're adding auras to a shape or lines, I encourage you to start with maybe 1 or 2 and come back and add more later instead of trying to finish the section and move on to the next one. I leave a section unfinished and then I'll come back later because that gives me more options. And I decided to add some line weight here and there to bring out this initial diamond shape. And instead of inking in, looks like I decided to add some lines. So adding lines tightly close together is a nice option when you don't want to make some space too bold by inking in, but you want to add just a little more something. Adding these lines creates something in between. It's not quite as dark as inked in space, but it's not quite as empty or light as a blank space. So it's kind of in between. And I add shading here and there to create layered look and dimensions. So this looks like a nice star. I don't know, maybe because I'm already thinking about Christmas, I wanted to do something like star shape. But I think the rounded one is beautiful too. So I think you are getting ready for Thanksgiving if you are in the States. I had my Thanksgiving celebration yesterday here in Tokyo with my friends who are from all over the world, mostly Americans, but there were people from Canada, from from France and Philippines and Cambodia, and of course from Japan and Taiwan, and it was just a very international group of people that I get to celebrate Thanksgiving with. I miss my family. Actually, my husband's family is in the States, so we don't get to celebrate holiday with them this year since we are in Japan. But I'm grateful that I get to have friends that I can celebrate Thanksgiving with. So happy Thanksgiving to you, and I hope this season brings opportunity for you to be grateful for, and I will see you tomorrow for the last video. Bye now.